Welcome to the latest episode of the Career Labs podcast series. This week, we're going to be talking about why visibility drives career growth and why talent alone isn't enough. So let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever felt like you were doing great work, but nobody noticed? You're delivering, you're solving problems, you are reliable, but when opportunities come up, your name isn't mentioned. I've seen this happen too many times. It's happened to me. And the frustrating part is this. It's not because you're not good enough. It's because you are not visible enough. Welcome to Career Labs, where we explore how to grow your career intentionally and not accidentally. And today we're talking about one of the most misunderstood drivers of career growth, visibility. There's a belief many professionals hold. If I do good work, people will notice. It sounds fair, but in reality, that's not how organizations work. Organizations are busy, complex, fast-moving. Leaders don't have time to investigate who is doing great work. They rely on what they can see, what they can hear, and what they can remember. So if your work isn't visible, it's often overlooked. Not because people don't care, but because they don't know. This is what I call the invisible high performer. This is someone who works hard, delivers consistently, solves problems, supports others, but keeps their heads down, and they avoid speaking up, sharing progress, and communicating impact. Basically, they believe my work will speak for itself. And here is the reality. Silence does not scale your career. So let's address the discomfort, the uncomfortable truth. Because many people hear visibility and think, I don't want to brag. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to toot my own horn. Well, visibility is not about ego. It's about clarity. It's about making sure the right people understand what you're doing, why it matters, and the impact it's creating. In fact, in the corporate world, there's a better word for this: stakeholder management. Just think about it. Some of the big brands whose products you buy, Apple, Google, they could build a product and think, we're not going to tell anyone about it, but then nobody would know about it and nobody would buy, or nobody would know the latest features in the phones or products they release. So you kind of need to let people know the great things you are doing. So if you're wondering how to do this, and which is how to raise your visibility, your brand within your organization without feeling uncomfortable, here's a simple structure. When you talk about your work, communicate it like this: what you did, why it mattered, what impact it created, and what happens next. This transforms your communication from I completed the task to I delivered something that created value. Does that make sense? And I'll say that again. You go to being able to communicate the value you add rather than I did this. Because when you say you did this, people think what? So always think in terms of so what? You've done X so that the organization can benefit from Y. You've always got to be telling people the impact of the thing you did. So let's bring this back to the 4 drivers of career acceleration. You can have strong value, great work, excellent delivery, but if visibility is missing, your career slows down because value creates results and visibility creates recognition. I'll say that again. Value creates results, visibility creates recognition, and recognition drives opportunity. But visibility does not mean being loud, far from it. And here is an important point. Visibility is not about being the loudest person in the room. You don't have to dominate meetings. You don't have to talk for the sake of it. And you don't have to become someone you're not. We're not asking that because that means you're not authentic, you're not real. And people can see through that. Visibility is simply about being intentional. And you can build visibility through sharing updates in meetings, contributing thoughtful ideas, posting thoughtful things on LinkedIn that relate to your profession or what you do, engaging in the right conversations, and lastly, asking good questions. It's about being seen for your thinking, not just for your outputs, because we're talking leadership now. It's about showing that strategically you can think about what the organization needs. And this is really important because there's a cost for staying invisible. And let's talk about this cost. When you stay invisible, others take credit. There's so many people I know who often say, I put the idea together, but someone else took the credit. And it's one of the worst feelings because it feels like someone is reaping the benefit of the work you did. But also, opportunities can pass you by. Your impact is severely underestimated. And then this just leads to your career slowing down instead of gaining momentum. And over time, frustration builds. And it's not because you're not capable. It's because you're not recognized. So the shift is this. Stop assuming your work will speak for itself. Start ensuring your work is seen, understood, and remembered. I want to pick up on this point a bit. When you create output, emails, PowerPoints, speeches, you have to make sure you add a bit of personality, quality to it, so it's memorable and it stands out. Because if you just say what you did without explaining the impact it had, it just goes over people's heads. People need to know the value, feel the value, be emotionally impacted by the value, and then you can be seen, understood, and remembered. So if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this. Visibility is not optimal. It's a critical part of career growth. So ask yourself, do the right people know what you're working on? Do they understand the impact you're creating? And are you communicating your value clearly? In the next episode, we're going to explore something equally important: why being busy doesn't move your career forward, and how to focus on high impact work. Because guess what? Another secret I'm going to share with you. Not all work is created equal. This is Career Labs. And remember, your career growth should never be accidental. It should stay intentional. Have a great week, smash it, and raise your visibility. Let them know the great work you do. I'll see you next week. Goodbye. What?